All right, let me get back on here and talk my spill. What's going on with everyone? I hope everyone's doing well. It's been a few months since I've been on here on the YouTube channel, but let's go right into it. Let's admit white supremacy. I listened to a brother a few years ago who he said a lot of black people will not admit white supremacy. We won't in our mind or verbally ever admit the fact that white supremacy exists and that it's something that needs to be taken out. It's a belief and ideology that people act upon, a system that exists that people are still abiding by, that it's at our expense. And what's the proof? Well, right now we just finished the elections right now, 2020 elections, and we had to vote between two white men. We literally had to vote between two white men. This is the white supremacy system we're still in. We had to vote between two white men when the last 4 years we've just seen white men killing our children, our women, our men publicly, privately. Some stuff comes out later. So, certain murders come out 8 months later. All the videos released. White men, white women killing black people. The brother who killed, I say brother, but I just mean the man who killed our brother George Floyd. He's out right now. He's out of jail right now on bail. The whole world went up into riot, but he's still out right now, very free. Amber Geiger, the cop who shot my brother, both of them, she right now she's about to get out because she filed her appeal. She'll probably get out. I say before the end of 2021, she'll probably get out because of how much that situation is downplayed and she got put in jail, so people feel like she's already good. They only gave her, I think, five. I think they gave her 5 to 10 years. Breonna Taylor's murderers are still out right now. The election just happened. We have Joe Biden and we have Kamala Harris as the new elects, and they haven't said anything about what's been happening to black people getting killed. I'm sorry. I have different blood in me. I don't feel the need to vote for two white men. I don't really even care what policies they make. I don't feel the need to vote for anybody white to run my community. I don't feel the need, and this is why I say admit white supremacy, because once you admit the white supremacy, you'll think of ways to fight white supremacy. You're not gonna admit somebody's supreme over you and then do nothing about it. If you realize someone's getting over on you, you're gonna fight. A lot of black people don't realize the get over that's happening on us. We I ask us this is what do we need white people for in any of our business? Stores, hospitals, insurance companies, making our own clothes, making our own cars. Like, what do we need white people for except for taking the responsibility of running ourselves, self governing ourselves, taking that responsibility to do it? Starts right here, too. Everything starts right here. It doesn't start outside of you, it all starts right here. And then you'll position yourself correctly to fight white supremacy. You're going to be like, I don't want to go to a job where I'm working for a white owner. I said that about 3 years ago. I said I'm not going to work for anybody white anymore. It was a struggle. It was a struggle, man. Like I went out there to Seattle. I said I'm not working for anybody white. I was out there. I was looking for a job for a second, and it was a struggle. The moment you say I'm not going to work for anybody white, I'm not going to pay anybody white, I'm not going to live on anybody's land that is owned by white people, dude, you change up the whole game. Like, you change up what you're going to do because you realize how supreme white people are over our circumstances, our situation. Even if you want to say, okay, I'm going to go start my own business and run my own business, you're going to go get a business license. $75 to get your business license in California. You get a business license, LLC, and all the laws and the policies of what you can and can't do with your business has already been determined in politics. I mean, you're dealing with laws that have been determined there some 100, 150 years. back when you couldn't even vote, back when you couldn't even, you know what I'm saying? And these laws, you're still dealing with them having to base your business based off the laws that they made. Why do we need white people to tell us what to do with our businesses? Why do we need white people to tell us how to run our politics? Understand, white people learn politics from us. They learn democracy, I should say. Democracy. Politics always goes on every day in life. That's nature. But democracy, Africans, we used to have a democracy where, the king or queen just represented the people, the people's wishes, the people's desires. Whatever the people wished or desired, the king or queen had to do that. It wasn't no king or queen influencing the people. It was the people influencing the king or queen. Certain African societies I read about, the older men would pick a younger man, bring him up, and say, hey, this is our pick to be the next king. This is our pick to be the next tribal leader. And then the older woman would have to sign off on that man that the older men picked. That was the Democrat Republican two-way bi-party, was male and female. That's your political party. Black people is male and female. You got the man, you got the woman, and y'all both on one side. That's your political party. Y'all both is on one side. Y'all both fighting for the same cause. Y'all just is figuring out the older woman taking care of the younger woman, the older man taking care of the younger man. This is why in our community you always got to look back to those right beneath you. This is why this channel is for younger people, people younger than me, 30 and under. When I'm 40, I'll be speaking to those 40 and under. But you always go back, because see, if you just left somewhere, if you just left your 20s, you just left your 30s, you can speak to those who are still there. You've been through what they've been through. You know what they're going through. I speak this channel for anybody 10 years younger than me. If you're 17 years old on up, I'm telling you exactly what I wish I would have known at 17 years old. I wish I would have known about white supremacy at 17 years old. I didn't learn about white supremacy until I was about 22. I didn't need that specific phrase and belief and ideology and the realisticness of it. I didn't even think about that until 22. Didn't even hear it and understand it. Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., the philosopher, doctor, brilliant mind. But he's the one, him and Dr. Francis Krauss Welsing, a psychiatrist, they're the ones who really speak about white supremacy in an educated doctor at a very high level. And they were Dr. Francis Krauss Welsing worldwide with it. Dr. Francis Krauss Welsing is the one who, she's at the beginning of the movie Baby Boy, when they start off the movie and they say there's a psychiatrist by the name of Dr. Francis Krauss Welsing. She has a theory about the black man being a baby. He always calls his mother uh, Ma. He always, calls the house the crib, and he always calls his girl Ma. That's their theory, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Dr. Lily Fuller, that theory of, there's nowhere in society that a white person somewhere can't say, stop this, do that, don't do that, and it happens. White person can at any moment say, we're gonna take Bill Cosby and we're gonna get him in jail now. And they have the means, the system, the propaganda, the trust of the people to go forward in a way and do something like that. And whatever they say is gonna go. They just showed, they just said, hey, everybody shut down the world. We're gonna shut down the homes. Everybody got to go home. You got to wear masks. You can't come in here. You can't go in there. They just shut it all down when they said so. When white people got to a point where, okay, we need to shut everything down, white people just told everybody else, Mexicans, blacks, Asians, immigrant, everybody had to abide by what white people said. It wasn't like our own thing that we, hey, well, we gonna decide how we deal with it over here. Where in the world is there somewhere that, hey, white people don't control in some type of way, or white people couldn't just say, you know what, we can go in there and take that land. We found out there's a lot of oil over there in that state. We just gonna take the land. We'll create some type of riffraff in the media, and we're just gonna take it. Who's gonna stop us? Right now, you have people killing black people, and they just out of jail. Who's gonna stop us? The other day, a couple weeks ago out here, a brother was found hanging from a basketball hoop in Sacramento, like literally like 5 minutes from where I'm at right now. found hanging from a basketball hoop, father of three, and cops the same day ruled it a suicide. Everybody in the community knew it wasn't a suicide. Brothers out there in San Diego got found hanging. A brother out there in farther north from Sacramento got found hanging. Out there in Stockton, someone got found hanging. It's not. It's it's so many situations that it's not even nothing to highlight like this one and talk about what happened. We all know that's not a suicide. We know a brother's not killing himself from hanging from a basketball. One, by hanging. If you have other options, by a basketball hoop in the community for everyone to see, that's a war. That's a war mode display. That's war. That's an enemy saying, "Hey, I'm going to kill the man," and display it for everyone to see. That's nothing to do with suicide. Suicide, you normally try and take care of that stuff quiet. Or if you are trying to go out and make a statement, you do go out and make a statement, but not in this way. We got to admit white supremacy. We got to admit it. Dr. Neely Fuller, he says, admit it. He says all aspects of society are ruled by religion, economics, sex, politics, education, entertainment. It's two or three more. It's two or three more. But all of them, what part of society is not ran by white people in some way? Ran by them. So we got to admit white supremacy. The reason why we got to admit white supremacy is you'll fight white supremacy if you admit it. You will not let somebody get over on you if you admit it. All right. So right now, just admit it. Just admit that there is white supremacy, a system of white supremacy, and admit that you're gonna fight it. Admit that you're gonna fight it for yourself, for your family, for your children. Admit that you're going to fight white supremacy. Admit it. When we look at people in the past, like Harriet Tubman, MLK, Rosa Parks, we can look at a number of people in the past who they knew there was a problem and they were committed to fighting it. Malcolm X. And all of these people say the same thing. They all say that they had issues dealing with black people with understanding that something needed to be done. All of them. All of them had that same issue. I take out Rosa Parks of that, but at Malcolm X, it was black people who, at the end of the day, you know, MLK. A lot of black people were not supportive of what MLK was trying to do. That he was pushing the status quo. Harriet Tubman. A lot of black people were not cool with what she was doing. She was pushing the status quo. She was making it difficult for other people sometimes. She said they would get out there. It'd be black people want to go back. It's more comfortable back home with Master John. All of them had to deal with their own people first. I'm trying to free y'all. I'm trying to free y'all from the plantation y'all on, and it's my own people. It's black people who maybe you don't think the situation is too bad. Maybe you think it's better at Master John's house. Maybe you think this situation is okay. You cannot blame or fault any black person who does not want to be a part of the system. You cannot blame or fault any black person, descendant of slave. You can't fault anybody for not wanting to be a part of the system, whether it's working for the system, voting within the system. It's tough enough existing in the system as the bottom class. A lot of black people won't even admit that as a people we're the bottom class. When you walk out, like the majority of the world views us as the bottom class as far as like economically. It's no surprise when we don't have money. You know, it's no surprise when we go out places and we struggling to pay for our money or whatever. So y'all, I'm gonna cut it off right here. I could keep talking right now for the next 2 hours. It's a lot flowing, but I want to cut the video short. Admit white supremacy. Admit it. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. There was a white guy I talked with last year in Seattle. He was talking with me. He had just got back from like was it Brazil? Very traveled man. And he said, "Where do you want to go?" He said, "Where do you want to travel to?" I said, "I want to get away from white supremacy." He said, "Nowhere in the West." This is literally what he said to me. He said, nowhere in the West. He said, you have to get out of the West. This is what he said. So when I'm talking with black people who won't admit white supremacy or won't admit that black people are the bottom class in everything, number one population in prison, number one population in foster care, foster youth, last to be adopted in foster care, biggest wealth gap. Dude, we're coming up from not being able to own money. We're not coming up from just slavery, just working hard. We're coming up from, you weren't allowed to own money up until 1865. Now, our ancestors still had stashed their little stuff under trees and had little stashes under the beds and under the boards and stuff like that because our people were tight like that. Our people were tight, y'all. You read of narratives by you read of narratives by the slaves. They were tight, doing illegal stuff because they're outside the law. You're not a part of the law if you're a slave. You're not a part of the law. There's no law to go to give you justice. Your son's about to get raped tonight. There's nobody to talk to about it. You are the law. You're gonna have to decide: am I gonna go in there and kill master? I'm gonna tell my son to be cool about it. They would rape boys all the time. They would rape men. They would rape men in the front of the plantation, in front of everybody. They don't. They You have to know your history for yourself. You're gonna have to know your history of yourself for yourself. Don't wait on a movie, The Butler, whatever type of movie to tell you about how tough times were back then. Read the slave narratives. Read about Maddie Johnson, 17 years old, ran away, 5 different attempts at running away, and then finally got away by 17. Read about Allen Allensworth. He learns how to read when it was illegal, ran away at like 14, goes and joins the army, comes back here to California and starts Allenstown, California, a black ran city. And they killed him. They killed him not too soon after. They killed him at the same time they were killing all the Tulsa riots, North Carolina, all the black business districts. The same time they were killing them, they killed off Allen Allensworth in Allenstown, California, out here right outside of Bakersfield. There's a town called Allenstown, California. It's the only black ran town out here. It's a historic monument. It's legendary. Black people will always have a mentality of being to ourselves, we don't need white people for what we're doing. We don't need white people for what we're doing to exist. When we go deal with you guys, we want to deal with you on a fair playing field. We have our government and our defense system, and we can go hang out and go to the games and the bars and party and have fun with each other and all that type of stuff. But when we have an equal footing and a fair footing. But right now, y'all want to hold the keys to the prison, y'all want to hold the guns, y'all want to hold the money, and y'all want us to just be Christian. This is why I say you got to admit white supremacy. White supremacy dominates everything. Right now, I just think in your own life, just think about when's the next time a white person, like you have to go do something that's for a white person. When's the next time you have to go do something that's for a white person? Whether it's show up at the job, pay a white person for something. I'm talking about establishments, white owned establishment. Dude, when my ancestors get free in Marshall, Texas, 1865, when they get free, there was about 300 slaves on that plantation. That's not a little house. You know, the master that they were working for was one of the wealthiest, and they say the wealthiest in East Texas. They say in the east side of Texas, he was one of the wealthiest slave owners. Had the most slaves, most operations going on, was growing different types of things. 300 slaves, that's like an Amazon warehouse. That's not, you know what I'm saying? That's a huge operation going on. That's a huge operation. That's a business. That's why Nipsey Hussle had that song. I used to like, damn, I was slave for some white crackers. Like I'm not. Look. I have ancestors who literally did it for all their lives. They worked for white people, no pay. Their children, all their lives worked for white people, no pay. Once my family gets out of slavery, all of my ancestors still worked a job all their life, minimum pay. Sometimes work their job all their life and still not get treated right at the end, still get cut out of something, cut out of retirement money, cut out of some type of land deal, minimum wage. They did all that for us to get to the point to view the world where we're viewing it now. We're viewing the world where it's like, okay, these lies and truths and everything that we didn't know when we didn't know how to read and write, all of that stuff, we breaking it all down. All that stuff's got to go. All of it's got to go. We're not going to be involved with none of that stuff no more. And this is what us, the new society, the new generation is dealing with. The new generation, you guys under us, they're not going to accept no lies because they can't. They grow up in a whole different generation of Google, fact checking. Everything's going to have to be real and honest with them. They're not going to be able to sit in church, hear lies, and just go along with it. They're not going to be able to sit in class, hear something that's like, wait, hold on, you saying like this is all you talking about black people is just slavery? You ain't going to talk about who they were before slavery? You're not going to talk about the black nations? You're not, of course you're not, because that's part of the war. That's part of the white supremacy. That's another proof and evidence of white supremacy is they won't even teach you truth. They won't even teach you truth. They'll teach you about all of their people. They'll teach you about the Aristotles and the Galileos and um, you know, Eusebius. They'll teach you about their people, and their people all say we learned all this stuff from the black Africans. We learned all this stuff from Kemet. Kemet means Egypt. Egypt. That's another thing we can go on. I could keep going about how many games white supremacy has played on us, but another time we'll get back to it. Y'all be safe, y'all be blessed. Y'all admit white supremacy and y'all continue to fight it. Just admit it. You'll know how to fight it. You'll know how to fight anybody using you for your time, your energy, your money, your brain. They really want your mind power. They really want your energy. Black people, you have so much energy. You built this nation for free. You have so much energy. You were working from sun up to sundown for free and built all of this thing called the USA. You basically funded this whole thing, and you still fought in the wars to defend this thing. And the government is yours, as a matter of fact. So y'all admit white supremacy and let's fight white supremacy. All right, I'll be back on with y'all. Y'all be safe. Y'all know it's nothing but love over here, and y'all know that this over here, we speaking to the black family. We speaking to the black family over here. So go ahead and subscribe on this channel. If you want, go ahead and follow on Instagram. Stan Man Knows. Stan Man Knows. You can follow me on Instagram there. But here on YouTube is where I'll continue to give videos that are going to be a lot more lengthy. All right. Y'all be safe. Let's fight white supremacy. All right, y'all. Peace.